Good morning. Today our topic is neonatal resuscitation part 3. The contents are self-inflating bag and mask, important characteristics of face mask, testing bag and mask, preparing for positive pressure ventilation. What if the baby doesn't improve? Remember, ventilation of the lungs is the single most important steps in resuscitation of a newborn. If the baby is not breathing or breathing is abnormal at the end of the first 30 seconds after providing initial steps of resuscitation, then you should immediately start ventilation with bag and mask. Basic parts of bag and mask. Bag is a self-inflating bag, inflates automatically without a compressed gas source. It stayed inflated at all times unless being squeezed. Bags used for newborns should have a volume ranging from 240 to 500 ml. Usually 500 ml capacity bag is used for resuscitation. The bag is made of silicone rubber which can be easily cleaned and autoclaved for reuse. Next part is posterior part of bag. The posterior part of bag consists of two inlet tubes. Smaller one is for oxygen and bigger one is for entry of air into the bag. Oxygen reservoir, if used, is attached to air inlet tube. Next part is pop-off valve. Pop-off valve is situated on front side of the bag. It is a pressure release valve which opens if excessive pressure is generated, thus limiting the pressure being transmitted to the baby. If you ventilate with high pressure or rate, the lungs could become overinflated, causing rupture of the alveoli and a resulting air leak. Next part is mask. It is not the actual part of the bag. Bag is different and mask is the different part. Masks come in different sizes and shapes. It is round and anatomically shaped. Anatomically shaped masks are shaped to fit the contour of the face. They are made to be placed on the face with the pointed part of the mask fitting over the nose. Mask is attached at the anterior end of bag. Room air may be used for resuscitation. You can see here that there is an oxygen source attached with the bag. So within the bag, the lower part is 100% oxygen, and from the room air, the air coming into the bag. So the upper part of this bag is 21% of oxygen. When two mixed and come to the mask, then 40% oxygen is coming out from the mask. If there is no oxygen source, on that time only 21% oxygen is coming out from the room air. Operation of the bag and mask. Pressure determined by 4 factors. Number 1, leak in the bag or equipment failure. Number 2, any leaks between mask and face. Number 3, how hard the bag is squeezed. Don't squeeze too hard. Look for chest movement only. Number 4, set point of pressure release valve, that is pop-off valve. Now we come to the point, that is preparation for ventilation with bag and mask. At first, selection of mask. Selection of a mask for use with a particular newborn will depend on how well the mask fits the newborn's face. For the mask to be the correct size, the rim should cover the tip of the chin, the mouth and the nose, but not the eyes. If the mask is too large, it may cause possible eye damage and will not seal well. If the mask is too small, it will not cover the mouth and nose and may occlude the nose. The next point is clear airway. Be sure that the airway is clear. For this, you may suction the mouth and nose one more time to assure there will be no obstruction to the assisted breath that you will be delivering by bag and mask. The next point is position the baby's head. The baby's neck should be placed in sniffing position to maintain an open airway. You may use soldier roll for better positioning of head if required. The next point is position yourself at the bedside. You should position yourself at the side or head of the baby to use the resuscitation bag effectively. Either position will allow you to hold the mask on the baby's face comfortably and allow you to have an unobstructed view of the abdomen and chest. If you are right-handed, you probably will feel most comfortable controlling the bag with your right hand and the mask with your left hand. If you are left-handed, you will probably want to control the bag with your left hand and hold the mask with your right hand. It is important that the bag is positioned so that it doesn't block your view of the baby's chest, since you need to be able to observe chest movement during ventilation. Next point is positioning the bag and mask on the face. The mask should be placed on the face so that it covers the nose and mouth, and the tip of the chin rests within the rim of the mask. You should begin by cupping the chin in the mask and then covering the nose. The mask usually is held on the face with the thumb, index and middle finger encircling the rim of the mask in shape of letter C, while the ring and fifth fingers bring the chin forward to maintain a patent airway. Once the mask is positioned, using light downward pressure on the rim of the mask can form an airtight seal. Care should be taken in holding the mask. Don't jam the mask down on the face. Too much pressure can mold or flatten the back of the head and bruise the face. Be careful not to rest your fingers or hand on the baby's eye. Make sure that adequate seal has been made between mask and face, otherwise air would leak from the mask, leading to ineffective ventilation. Now, initiation of ventilation. Start ventilation by squeezing the back to deliver breath. Remember, the lungs of the fetus are filled with fluid, so the first few breaths will often require high pressure and longer inflation times than will subsequent breaths. Adequate pressure required to squeeze the bag should be just enough to produce gentle chest rise as it happens in normal breathing. Remember, if the baby appears to be taking a very deep breath, the lungs are being overinflated. You are using too much pressure and there is danger of producing an air leak in the lungs. How often should you squeeze the bag? During the initial stages of neonatal resuscitation, breaths should be delivered at a rate of 40 to 60 breaths per minute and slightly less than once a second. To help maintain a rate of 40 to 60 breaths per minute, try saying to yourself as you ventilate the newborn, breathe 2 3, breathe 2 3. If you squeeze the bag on breathe and release while you say 2 3, you will probably find you are ventilating at a proper rate. Ensure chest rise. After starting ventilation with bag and mask, you should look for chest movement after ventilating 2 to 3 times to ensure adequacy of ventilation. If the chest movement is absent and inadequate, then you should immediately take steps to improve ventilation. Reasons for inadequate or absent chest movements are: the seal is inadequate, the airway is blocked, and not enough pressure is being given. You should immediately take following steps to improve the ventilation. Reapply the mask to the face and try to form a better seal. Use a little more pressure on the rim of the mask and lift the jaw a little more forward. Don't press down hard on the baby's face. The most common place for a leak to occur is between the cheek and bridge of the nose. Next, check the baby's position and extend the neck a bit further. If chest movement inadequate or absent, check the mouth, oropharynx and nose for secretions. Clear the mouth and nose if necessary. Try ventilating with the baby's mouth slightly open. If chest movement inadequate or absent, increase the pressure to squeeze the bag until there is perceptible movement of chest. After undertaking the steps to improve ventilation, if required, you should continue to ventilate the baby for 30 seconds and afterward assess the baby for signs of improvement and act accordingly. We can remember the steps to improve the ventilation by MR SOPA, that is MRSOPA. M means mask. At first, we reapply the mask. R means reposition, that is take the baby's position. SOPA. S means suctioning, that is clear the mouth and nose. O means open mouth, that is try ventilating with the baby's mouth slightly open. P means pressure, that is increase the pressure to squeeze the bag harder. And A means assess, that after 30 seconds we should assess the baby for signs for improvement and act accordingly. So you can remember the steps by MR SOPA. How do you evaluate the success of ventilation? Improvement is indicated by spontaneous breathing. Some babies improve quickly and begin breathing well after 30 seconds of adequate ventilation. Some babies require prolonged ventilation with bag and mask. Evaluate the baby after 30 seconds of adequate ventilation by asking yourself, is the baby breathing spontaneously? If yes, then gradually reduce the rate and volume of breaths and watch for baby's breathing. A baby who is breathing well will be crying and breathing quietly and regularly. Chest is rising symmetrically with frequency 30 to 60 breaths per minute, and there is no chest in drawing and no grunting for 1 minute. If the baby is breathing well, then stop the ventilation and provide observational care as described earlier. A baby who is not breathing well, who is gasping or not breathing at all, after 30 seconds of adequate ventilation needs continued ventilation and further evaluation. For that type of baby, call for help. A more skilled worker will be required to evaluate and assist in resuscitation, continue bag and mask ventilation, provide oxygen through bag and mask if available, assess the heart rate. Evaluate heart rate by feeling the umbilical cord pulse or listening to the heartbeat with stethoscope while you stop ventilation for 6 seconds. Feel the pulse in the umbilical cord where it attached to the baby's abdomen. If no pulse can be felt in the cord, you or your helper must listen over the left side of chest with the stethoscope and count the heartbeat. It may be necessary to stop ventilation for few seconds to listen with stethoscope. Counting the number of beats in 6 seconds and multiplying by 10 can provide quick estimate of the beats per minute. For example, if you count 8 beats in 6 seconds, announce the baby's heart rate as 80 beats per minute. A heart rate above 100 beats per minute is normal. A heart rate less than 100 beats per minute is slow. If you are unable to count the heart rate, then minimize the time without ventilation by listening to the heart rate as below. If the heart rate sounds faster than your own pulse, probably the heart rate is normal. If the heart rate sounds slower than your own pulse, probably the heart rate is slow. If the heart rate is normal, above 100 beats per minute, but the baby is still not breathing well, continue to provide bag and mask ventilation and reassesses after every 30 seconds until the baby is breathing well, as majority of babies whose heart rate is above 100 beats per minute eventually start to breathe well. However, if the baby still doesn't breathe, continue ventilation and seek advanced care or organize referral. If the heart rate is low, make sure that you have taken all the steps to improve the ventilation. The chest should move gently with each breath. Continue to do bag and mask ventilation and reassess heart rate approximately after every 30 seconds. In the meantime, the more skilled healthcare provider should provide advanced care if possible. The baby may need more advanced support such as endotracheal intubation, chest compressions, and medications. Arrange for referral if advanced care is not available. Care in a specialty facility will be required. Ventilation should continue uninterrupted during the transport process. The procedure of bag and mask ventilation should be continued until the baby establishes spontaneous breathing. However, if there are no signs of life, breathing, or heart rate, even after 20 minutes of birth, ventilation may be stopped. Post-resuscitation care. Babies who have received only brief ventilation can be given observational care. However, babies who require prolonged positive pressure ventilation are at risk for deterioration and are at high risk for developing subsequent complications. So, those babies need supervised medical care, that is post-resuscitation care. Keep the baby warm. Check breathing, temperature, color, and safety. Monitor blood sugar. Watch for complications. Initiate breastfeeding if well. Follow-up care after successful resuscitation. Monitoring of a baby after successful resuscitation include for the baby, the mother and baby should be kept together with the baby in skin to skin contact. Encourage the mother to breastfeed for her baby as soon as it is ready. This will help to prevent hypoglycemia, a low blood sugar. Assess the baby's attachment at the breast. Can you hear him swallow? Help the mother breastfeed if needed. Good suckling is a sign of recovery. If the baby is unable to suck effectively, help the mother to express colostrum. Record what has happened in the baby's notes and in the labor record. For the mother and family, for resuscitation, after resuscitation, explains to the mother and family what has happened and how the baby is now. Keep the mother and baby in the delivery room and don't separate them. Never leave the woman and newborn alone. Monitor them every 15 minutes during the first hour. Record the events. Record what has happened as soon as possible after the baby is stable and with the mother. Keeping records of events which occur at the time of delivery and in the immediate period afterwards can be vital. The information is important if a baby needs to be referred or becomes sick in the next few days. Examination the baby before discharge. The baby should be thoroughly examined before it is discharged from the delivery room. Tell parents that although the possibility of complications is low, there is still a small probability that the baby may have problems such as feeding difficulty or convulsions in the first few days. Instruct them to take the baby to the nearest hospital if these problems occur. Encourage the mother to maintain skin to skin contact as much as possible in the next few days.